There we go. We are live. Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. And today's video is another transfer news update show, updating you all the latest Manchester United news that's come out over the last 24 hours, keeping you updated on all of the news. And I have to say, there's a lot of negative news. There's a tiny bit of positive news, but we'll start with the negative. We'll go to the positive. It is it's not the best day to be a Man United fan today. You know, it's not been the best week to be a Man United fan, because 1 minute we get Sancho is really close, and then Romero, the Don of transfers, is saying, you know what, the deal isn't as close as we think, and all of that. I must say, it's not been the best day for transfer news, but I will cover all of that in today's video. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe down below, share this video and all of that. When we're talking about Varane, KOUNDE, Sancho, the CDM situation, Trippier, the centre-back Romero that we might be getting, the Fabrizio Romano news that's come out, and a lot more. So hit that like button, subscribe down below. We'll also be talking about another topic as well. We'll talk about some of the other football topic regarding England and all of that, giving you my thoughts on certain situations like Donny van der Beek's injury and all that. Of course, I will be addressing and reading out a lot of live chats towards the end of the video. So if you have any questions, pop them in the live chat and I'll try and address as many live chats as possible. And I'll also be talking about getting guests on the show. I might do a thing called a weekly Thursday show where we get guests on the show. So any guests you want to see on the show, of course, let me know in the comments, live chat and all of that. So I get straight into the news. Let me get straight into the news. So I won't lie, it's not been the best day to be a Man United fan, because we're kind of getting told from pretty credible journalists across Europe that we're very, very close to Trippier and we're in very, very close talks for Sancho. We're in advanced talks for Sancho and very, very close for Trippier. And a lot of journalists are saying that. And these are credible sources saying we're close for Trippier, we're close for Sancho and all of that. But then Fabrizio Romano, the Don of all transfers, basically contradicts that. Fabrizio Romano came out and said yesterday that Kieran Trippier will stay at Atletico Madrid if there's no super offer for him this summer. We're being told that Man United are this close to signing Kieran Trippier. It's this close, it's £10 million. Kieran Trippier is buying a home in Manchester. Kieran Trippier can't wait to go to Manchester. Kieran Trippier knows he's going to come back to Manchester. We were getting told from these really reliable journalists that, Kieran Trippier to Man United's close, the deal's almost done. But then Fabrizio Romano goes that Kieran Trippier is going to stay at Man United unless United offer Atletico a significant amount of money for him. Unless we give them a super offer, they're not going to sell him. There's news that, Atletico Madrid are looking at Hector Bellerin to replace Kieran Trippier. But what I'm hearing is Man United aren't going to get Kieran Trippier unless we literally give them 20 million quid. 20 million quid. You're thinking 20 million quid for a backup right back when we're not spending 20 million quid on SOUMARE, that's just one Ligue 1, a CDM from Lille, or 20 million quid on KOOPERMEINERS, who's going to Atlanta. But apparently now we're going to spend 20 million quid on Trippier, get a backup right back. It's very, very confusing. So Fabrizio Romano yesterday completely contradicted the news about Kieran Trippier to Man United. And it makes me think, is this, we're really close to signing Trippier, we're really, really close to signing Jadon Sancho. Is Romano wrong? Surely Romano won't be wrong. If you're going to listen to anyone, you're going to listen to Romano. Some people say his credibility's gone down, but for me, it hasn't. I think if you're going to listen to anyone about transfers, you listen to Romano. Surely Romano isn't wrong. So this makes me think, have Man United just leaked all this crap to the press to just distract us from everything? Because realistically, we're not going to sign anyone till after the Euros. But if we keep leaking, and those are stories that Sancho, Trippier, and all of these deals are close, is it just to distract the fans to the fact that we're probably going to have another disappointing transfer window? Our PR team just leaking stuff out? Ronaldo 1 week, the only CDM we're linked to is Declan Rice, because that's going to cause the biggest interest. Jadon Sancho week in, week out. We know that Jadon Sancho's what the fans want. 2 days ago, we're linked to Grealish, Kane, Haaland. All these names we're linked with are names that are going to impress the fans, and we just link with them for a PR spin, because that's how I feel. I'm talking of the Jadon Sancho news. So Fabrizio Romano came out and said 2 things regarding Jadon Sancho on his latest podcast. So regarding Jadon Sancho, this is what Fabrizio Romano said today. He said that Man United hope to complete an agreement on personal terms with Jadon Sancho soon. At the moment, though, there's no negotiations with Borussia Dortmund. The deal has no official bid. So he's saying that Man United hope to complete an agreement with Sancho soon. But he's saying, look, we got no negotiations going on with Dortmund right now. We aren't putting a bid in, and that kind of links to what Jan said. Jan said that Man United are talking to Sancho, but we're not talking to Dortmund. We're not going to get him before the Euros. There's no bid, Fabrizio Romano said we're trying to talk to Sancho and get personal terms agreed again, but he's saying we aren't talking to Dortmund at all. Now, there's two situations. Are we not talking to Dortmund because Dortmund have made it really clear what they want? There's no negotiating with Borussia Dortmund this time round. Dortmund have said £80 million before July 23rd and it's yours. So, I guess in a sense, we don't need to negotiate with Dortmund because they just told us what we need to do and we can have him. £80 million, July 23rd is yours. There's no point trying to negotiate with Dortmund again because we lose. So maybe we don't need to really negotiate to Dortmund until we want to get the deal done because we know the term's set. Or are we just trying to play the deal out as long as possible to save money? It really confuses me because the one thing that annoys me about the Jadon Sancho situation more than anything is it's not like we just started working on Jadon Sancho. We've been working on Jadon Sancho for 3 fucking years. We were this close to getting him done last summer with the 90% club. If we wanted Jadon Sancho, we could get Jadon Sancho. Chelsea got Ziyech way before last season started. Chelsea got Werner, and then Werner watched them in the FA Cup final before the transfer window last summer. We could have got Sancho before the Euros, considering we've been working on Sancho a year, and he's our main priority this year. You failed Sancho last year. He's our main priority this year. If we really wanted to, we could have got Jadon Sancho before the Euros. It's not that complicated because we've been working on this deal a year. But are we trying to drag the Sancho deal on to create as much noise, create as much PR? And in fact, if we do drag the Sancho deal on, it means that after we sign Sancho, there's less pressure on us to sign anyone else because it could only be 1-2 weeks of the window left. Why are we dragging the Sancho deal on? Why aren't we know what Borussia Dortmund's terms are? It's 80 million before July 23rd. Are we really going to go in again with Dortmund and try and drag the deal out to after July 23rd just to see if we can save a few million quid and then probably having to end up and pay £10 million more like we did with Maguire and Leicester 2 summers ago, like we did with Bruno and Sporting in the January window? It really, really frustrates me. I don't think Romano's wrong on this. I think what Man United done is they've just spread positive PR, to everyone around saying that we're this close to getting Sancho done to try and distract us from the fact that we're probably going to wait till after the Euros till we see our first summer signing because all we've signed right now is Tom fucking Heaton. Oh, Tom Heaton's going to win us win us the Champions League, isn't he? So it's really, really interesting that Fabrizio Romano said there's no negotiations going on with Jadon Sancho. Fabrizio Romano also said this regarding Jadon Sancho. So Fabrizio Romano said that my feeling is that Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is just not just a matter of days. It will take some time to complete the deal. So we were thinking, could Jadon Sancho happen in the next few days? Could we get the Jadon Sancho deal before the Euros? But Fabrizio Romano, that probably knows more than any of us right now, is saying that it's not a matter of days. It's going to take some time before United complete this deal. Fabrizio Romano has basically said Jadon Sancho is probably not going to happen till after the Euros. United are going to take their time on it. Are United going to do this thing? At the beginning of the January window in 2020, we were in for Bruno Fernandes. We made it clear we went for Bruno Fernandes, but we didn't get to the end of the January window just to see if we could save £5 million that we didn't end up saving. Are we really going to do that with Dortmund? Because Dortmund's terms are set. We failed last summer. Why don't we just give them £80 million before July 23rd? We've been working on this still a year. Are we really going to work on delaying this Sancho deal even more to save a couple quid? Because the Glazers own us? Probably yes. And that's the really frustrating situation. We've had a big Trippier blow and we've had a big Sancho blow from Romano. Now, the good thing is Romano's not said the deal is off or anything, but what Romano's saying is this Sancho deal isn't as close as we think. It's not going to happen in the next couple of days. And what Romano's saying regarding Trippier is we've got to put in an actual big bid for Trippier. So I think there's been a lot of news stories leaked about Man United to try and get positive PR on our side, which, it really, really frustrates me. And it links in with, yesterday on my stream we're talking about COOPERMEINERS. 20 million quid has gone to Atalanta. SOUMARE, 20 million quid has gone to Leicester. 2 good CDMs that will come in and improve us, already gone before the Euros. The thing about Man United is, and I will read out some of the live chats in a second, is that we let all the good players go. It's like we take so long to do our transfer business that we only buy the players that no one else can afford, or they've just been way overpriced, or the players that no one wants. I feel like COOPERMEINERS and SOUMARE, all the bargains are going to be gone by the first half of the transfer window because clubs like Leicester got their business done well. Clubs like Atalanta got the business done well. 2 £20 million CDMs that would have come into this squad and improve us are gone. And that leaves Man United in a situation where you either get the CDM that no one wants, so like let's say Carbon Phillips, or we get the CDM that's ridiculously overpriced like Declan Rice. And that's my feeling about Man United and transfer windows. And I felt like that a long time. I remember 2 summers ago, Tielemans 30-40 million, we're all begging for it. He went to Leicester. Now we're going to buy him back for 60 million. Absolutely stupid. Harry Maguire, we could have gotten for 50 million. We thought, now we go in and get it for 80 million the next window. Why don't we go for players when they're at a good, reasonable price? why do we have to wait a year to get that player and pay more money? Because for some reason, the Glazers think if they delay a deal, they're going to save money. But really, you end up paying more. You delay Maguire a year, you pay £30 million more for him. You know, we're in an absolutely stupid situation. You know, Jack Grealish, we got him last summer, we would have got him for 50 million. Jack Grealish's price has doubled in the last year. Players' prices normally go up after the Euros if they have a good Euro. So say we're waiting to get Pau Torres. If he has a sick Euros and Spain do well, his price is going to go up by 20 million quid. And I think with Man United, there's every good affordable player that would improve us is going to go for the first half of the transfer window, which leaves us by the time the Euros end, by the time we get around to doing our business, you know, Chelsea have had their first choice at centre-back. Let's say PSG have had the first choice at centre-back. So we're just left with the ones that no one wants, or the ones that are just priced out of the move. I feel like that's the situation we are in. Now, we have been linked to a centre-back in Christian Romero. Fabrizio Romano has given an update on him, and I will get into that just a sec. That is the positive news. I obviously wanted to get the negative news out of the way. I want to read out some of your live chats, but we have been linked to a very, very good centre-back that I talked about in yesterday's live stream. And I will be updating you on all the latest news in that sense. But just to keep you informed, Kieran Trippier is not going to happen till after the Euros, and it's not as close as we think. And Jadon Sancho ain't happening till after the Euros. That's what we've been told, and it's a very, very frustrating situation. I think, you know, it's not been a good week because we've also been told that Donny van de Beek's out of the Euros. I feel really, really bad for Donny van de Beek. He's out of the Euros. He's having a not shocking season, but it's not his fault. You know, it's not the best day to be a United fan. It's not the best day to be a United fan. But what I'm going to do is, I've missed out a few live chats, so I'm going to read out a few live chats. If you have any questions for me, please put them in the live chat. Please, thank you very much for joining the Members Club, Aaron Stevenson. So put any questions you might have in the live chat. So let me read out some comments. Sancho Blow, yeah, look, but we were told by reliable journalists that Man United were in talks with Dortmund for Sancho. Fabrizio Romano said that we're not in talks with Dortmund. There's no negotiations going on with Dortmund. In fact, we are just talking to Jadon Sancho, and that actually, personal terms with Jadon Sancho isn't actually agreed right now. Nippon says the Glazers are clueless. I absolutely agree. The Glazers are clueless. It's a joke how they run this club. The Glazers are a joke, and yeah, the Glazers are absolutely clueless when it comes to Manchester United, when it comes to transfers and all of that. Guys, please hit that like button, subscribe down below and share this video. I've got a lot more news to update you with, so stay tuned for that. But if you have any questions, please put them in the live chat. I'm going to try and address as many live chats as possible, and then I'll get into a lot more of the news. This Shane says, I can't deal with another failed transfer window. Not getting our main targets, I'm not able to face that. Yeah, that's the frustrating situation is, you know, we get kind of excited at the start of the transfer window because, you know, the start of last transfer window, we were being told we're going to get Grealish, Bellingham and Sancho. You know, this time a year ago, we were being told that Grealish, Bellingham and Sancho were the targets. That's what we were going to get. So we were really excited at the beginning of last transfer window. And then as the transfer window goes on, it gets more and more realistic that we're not going to sign who we think we're going to sign. So at the start of this transfer window, we think we're going to get Sancho, Trippier and Varane. You know, a week ago, we were sitting there going, we're getting Sancho, Trippier and Varane, it looks like. Like last summer, we were saying we were going to get Grealish, Bellingham, Sancho. You know, more and more weeks go on in the transfer window, it's looking more and more less likely that we're going to get Trippier and more less likely that we're going to get Varane. And before we know it, we could be at the end of the transfer window with Tyrone Mings, Calvin Phillips and Sancho. Okay, Sancho, brilliant. But Tyrone Mings, shit, I don't know how he's in the England squad. I really don't. I'd rather play Tuan Zabi for England, who's barely played this season, over Tyrone Mings. I mean, Konza carries Mings. And, you know, we get a CDM, but it's someone like Calvin Phillips, who's okay, but he's not Declan Rice. And we'd end up playing something stupid like 60 million for Calvin Phillips when, you know, COOPERMEINERS has gone for 20 million. And that's the thing with United is, you know, the start of the window, we're thinking Varane, Trippier, Sancho, that's what it's going to be. Maybe a CDM if Pogba leaves. As you approach the end of the transfer window, for all we know, it could be Tyrone Mings, it could be Pedro Neto, and it could be some CDM from the Championship that no one's heard of, or we could turn around and go, James Garner's ready. You know, we get told all this positive news right at the start of the transfer window. You know, last week we're saying Trippier is definitely going to happen before the Euros. We're going, Varane's very, very likely to happen. If we don't get Varane, United are going to get KOUNDE. We're told that Sancho is very, very close, could happen before the Euros. Then all of a sudden, we're getting told, you know what, that Sancho deal ain't close. That Sancho deal is not close at all. We haven't even negotiated with Dortmund. We aren't even in talks with Dortmund, which for me is a disgrace. We've been working on Sancho for over a year. We know what the terms are. Dortmund clearly laid out their terms, 80 million before July 23rd, and apparently we're not even in talks for Sancho. Not even in talks. And that's fucking stupid in my opinion, but it is what it is. And Varane's gone all quiet. There's talks that Ancelotti could convince Varane to stay another year. So we're in a very negative situation. And the thing about Man United is the start of the transfer window always looks like it's going to be a good window. And the end, it always looks like it's going to be a shit window. And I always say, Man United is high expectations followed by disappointment. Last transfer window was a disappointment. Let's be honest, 100% disappointment getting Sancho. The transfer window before was a disappointment because we never got Bruno Fernandes. We waited till January. And the transfer window before that was absolutely shocking. Fred, Dello and Lee Grant. Absolutely shocking. Surely we can't not make it 4 in a row with dreadful transfer windows. Are we going to have 4 dreadful transfer windows in a row? Are they going to use COVID as an excuse for 4 dreadful transfer windows in a row? I don't know. Now, guys, I still think we're going to get Sancho. I do. But I do have a fear about Haaland being very, very close to Chelsea. If you've kept an eye on some of the Chelsea news, Erling Haaland he could go to Chelsea. And look, we're in a strong position with Sancho, I guess. We are. I think we are going to get Sancho, even though we've had this big blow on Sancho. I think we will get Sancho. I just think we're not going to get Sancho to the end of July, and I think we're going to delay the deal. It's going to be painful. But if Chelsea get Erling Haaland, there's a lot of indication that Chelsea could sign Erling Haaland. We're in a situation where if Dortmund get 100 million for Erling Haaland, they ain't in a rush to sell Sancho. They might say, you know what? We just sold Erling Haaland for 100 million. We need to replace Haaland. If you want Sancho, you've got to pay 100 million now, not 80 million. And, if Dortmund get a lot of money for Haaland from Chelsea this summer and Haaland goes this summer, Dortmund won't want to sell Sancho unless they get a ridiculous amount of money. Because if you think about it, 80 million for Jadon Sancho is a decent price. But I tell you what, if Haaland goes to Chelsea, and there's indications that Haaland could go for Chelsea for 100 million, Dortmund don't really need that money. They're focused on replacing Haaland because realistically, Dortmund won't sell Haaland and Sancho in the same window. So yes, we know there's a gentleman's agreement with Dortmund to sell Sancho, and that Dortmund will sell Sancho. There's this whole gentleman's agreement that Dortmund could sell Sancho. If Haaland goes to Chelsea, I don't think Man United will get Sancho because you know what? If Haaland goes to Chelsea, Dortmund won't want to sell Sancho. They'll up their price. And we know that Man United are willing to pay £80 million for Sancho. It's been confirmed. We're willing to pay £80 million for Sancho, and Dortmund will accept that. So why are we delaying the Sancho deal? We could have got Sancho before the Euros. We've been working on the Sancho deal a year. Why are we delaying the Sancho deal? Because we can get Sancho for £80 million right now. We know we're willing to pay £80 million. That's been told to us. We know that Dortmund will let him go for £80 million. We could get Sancho right now for £80 million, but we're delaying the deal. If we delay the deal 2 months and Chelsea get Haaland in the next month for 100 million, that Sancho price could go up. And the only thing I think is Man United probably think delaying the Sancho deal is going to lower Sancho's price. But you know what, Man United? You delayed the Maguire deal for the whole transfer window, you still end up paying 80 million. You delayed the Bruno deal for the whole transfer window, you still up paying the same money. You're delaying the Jadon Sancho deal, a deal you've been working on over a year, till after the Euros, just to see if you can save a couple quid. But you know what? If Haaland actually goes to Chelsea this window and Chelsea want Haaland, they're willing to pay 100 million for him. Dortmund are just going to up the Sancho price. So you're actually going to cause yourself more problems. And I just look at the situation. I think it's absolutely stupid that we have not got Sancho done before the Euros. It's absolutely stupid that we are not in talks with Borussia Dortmund for Sancho. We should have got Sancho done before the Euros because we've been working on the deal a year and it's been made clear he's our number one target. If you've been working on your number one target for over a year, you should be able to get that deal done the first week of the transfer target, right? Yes, I am right. But you know what? The people that run this club, the owners of this club are absolute jokes. So that's the problem here. That's the problem. They're just trying to delay it because as sad as it is, our owners don't care about our club. We need a CDM. We know we all need a CDM. £20 million Coopermeiners, he's gone to Atalanta. £20 million is £5 million more than we paid for Dan James. We paid £20 million for Dello. And we need a CDM so badly, but we've let SOUMARE go to Leicester for 20 million and Coopermeiners go to Atalanta for 20 million. £20 million CDM that would improve us that are young, we've let go. And it's just one of them situations. We're not in for a CDM unless we sell a midfielder. Have you not watched Man United this season? We desperately need a CDM. What a joke. The really cheap CDMs like Coopermeiners and SOUMARE have already found new clubs. We might get Varane, but we probably end up with Tyrone Mings. Trippier ain't close at all. And actually, we haven't even started talks with Dortmund over Sancho. We've not even started talking. It's an absolute joke how this club is run. And it frustrates me so much. it frustrates me so much because I just know that we could have had Sancho if Abramovich ran Man United, if Sheikh Mansour ran Man United last summer, we would have had Sancho and Grealish, and this summer we probably would have signed someone like Declan Rice, or maybe that KOOPERMEINERS and all of that. For all we know, Sakaria will go to Man City for 20 million, and they don't even need a CDM because Man City are run properly, and we're just run by absolute clowns. Jadon Sancho commented, the only scenario I'll accept is Sancho talk in sign Varane and Rice. Other than that, I'd be fuming. Yeah, I think we all know that. I think most Man United fans would like Sancho, Varane and Rice this transfer window. And I think Sancho and Varane is very, very obtainable. I said, look, I don't think we'll get Declan Rice. If we get Declan Rice, I said I'd give £100 away on this channel. So if you think we're going to get Declan Rice, you might as well subscribe because you can win £100. But Sancho and Varane is very, very obtainable. Varane has 1 year left on his deal. There's no indication that Varane is going to stay at Real Madrid for another year. Why don't Man United go for Varane? Why don't we go for Sancho? We need 3 key areas. It's not like we need a complete rebuild or it's only one area that needs improving. If you've watched Man United this season, all you can say is centre-back, CDM, right wing. Everyone knows we need centre-back, CDM, right wing. But we're not even going for any of them. We'll wait until after the Euros to do 3 key areas. And the thing that frustrates me again is we know it takes Man United 6-7 weeks to get a deal done. So if we're waiting until after the Euros, at most we can get 2 marquee deals done. We need to get 3 marquee deals done, but we know it takes us 6-7 weeks to actually negotiate to sign a player. So at most we have enough time to do 2 marquee deals and not 3. And I just tell you, we get the excitement that we're getting Sancho, Trippier and Varane. And then we get told, it could be another disappointing transfer window. It could be Tyrone Mings and Sancho for all we know. I swear, if we sign Tyrone Mings, there will be a rant video. Luckily, the Tyrone Mings news has calmed down. But, look at Liverpool. Yeah, look at Liverpool. Liverpool don't have the best owners in the world. Liverpool don't have good owners. But they're going to get Rafinha, and they've already got Kounde. At least Liverpool have already signed a player. Liverpool, who have a better centre-back than us in Van Dijk, have signed a centre-back before us and are more organised. Honestly, it's really promising. Glazers out. Yeah, guys, if you are Glazers out, please hit that like button for Glazers out and subscribe down below if you're new. If you've not seen my face before, I'm doing daily Manchester United live streams throughout the transfer window. So please subscribe down below if you're new and all of that. If you have any questions for me, put them in the live chat. I'm going to read out as many questions as I can regarding transfer news and all of that. I'm just going to take a quick swig of water. But if you have any questions regarding transfer news, questions, all of that, put them in the live chat. I'm just going to grab my water because it's over here. So I haven't actually disappeared, guys. If you have any questions, put them in the live chat. I'm just taking a quick swig of water. And I spilled my water on my mouse. Look at that. Brilliant. Let me read out some comments. So I'm going to read out a few of you guys' comments before I get to the next stories. Which one of our £60 million signings worked out? Di Maria? Not really. Lukaku? Not really. Pogba, if he goes to a free, definitely not. Maguire, decent, but not 60 million. What about Martial, Wan-Bissaka, and Fred, 50 million plus? Wan-Bissaka's been all right, to be fair. Martial, I think, has been all right. Only Bruno exception. Yet United fans want another £80 million player. There's Rebuild FC. And I was talking about this on my live stream yesterday. Every summer we're linked to a Galactico. Like a Harry Kane, Jadon Sancho and ERLING Haaland. Every summer Man United are linked to that one big signing. If you look at Manchester City, and one thing you have to give Manchester City is how they've built their squad is absolutely fantastic. Man City get a lot of £50 million players and they all work out. Instead of Man United spending their whole budget, let's say on Harry Kane, 150 million on Harry Kane, you could get 3 good players. You could get Basuma 40 million or Locatelli 40 million. You could get Rafinha for 50 million and you could get Jules Kounde for 50 million, But the reason Man United don't go for 50 million Jules Kounde, don't go for 40 million Locatelli and 40 million Rafinha is because Man United would rather spend 150 million pounds on Harry Kane than buy Locatelli, Rafinha and Jules Kounde because Harry Kane prevents so much hype, gets so much PR, gets so much positive attention that, United make more money off signing Harry Kane. And the thing is, when we sign a big signing, I think it's only for the Glazers' benefits. Paul Pogba was a big signing, but the Glazers benefited from it because when we signed Paul Pogba, the media attention, the PR, the shirt sales were absolutely massive. You've got to think about it. Man City, who are 100 times better than us in the transfer window, they get a lot of £50 million signings like Rodri, Ruben Diaz, Mahrez. Man City do loads of £50 million signings. Whereas United, United have pretty much got all the record transfers. United will spend 80 million on Maguire, spend 100 million, let's say, on Jadon Sancho, 100 million on Paul Pogba, big money on Lukaku, and I just think it's stupid. I do. I think Sancho 80 million is a very, very good deal, and I hope you get Sancho for 80 million. What I'm saying is the Glazers would rather spend 150 million on Haaland or Kane, who we don't need. We need a striker, but we don't really need a striker. The Glazers would rather spend 150 million on Haaland and Kane than 150 million on Rafinha, Locatelli and Jules Koundé, because the Glazers know if they spend all that money on one player, Haaland and Kane, they're banging in PR, they're banging in revenue, they're banging in media attention. Whereas if we sign Jules Koundé, that's a good sign, and that's a signing we're all happy with, but it's not a big name. If we sign Locatelli's a great CDM, 40 million. A 40 million pound like CDM like Locatelli, great player, comes in and improves us, but that's not that much PR. You know, if we sign Rafinha, yes, it's a good signing, yes, it's the best Sancho backup, but it's not that good PR and attention. Grealish, Sancho, Haaland, Kane, they're the four names we're linked with because it's all about PR. It's all about attention at Man United. The only CDM we've been linked with is Declan Rice for 90 million. If we are going to spend 80 million on Jadon Sancho, we're not getting Declan Rice, but Declan Rice is a hype player, PR, big signing. United are the team that they'll do one massive signing, whether it be Sancho, Declan Rice, and a load of shit signings. Whereas Manchester City, if Sheikh Mansour and Man City were in our situation, I tell you what, we'd be signing Locatelli, Jules Koundé, and Jadon Sancho because they're efficient. And that's the thing about Man United. We all spend our money on these Galacticos signings that are going to get a lot of PR attention and gas up people, but we don't actually invest in players we need. As I said earlier, COOPERMEINERS, £20 million goes to Atalanta, a CDM that would come and improve us. You know, SOUMARE, £20 million, one league earn, has now gone to Leicester. Look how good Leicester have been in the transfer market. Look how good Atalanta have been in the transfer market. Look what they are in comparison of the money they spend. Atalanta always doing good in Serie A. Leicester doing well in the Premier League. It's because the people that own them know football and they know how to get a bargain. How many bargains have Leicester got? Loads. How many bargains have Dortmund got? Loads, because whoever runs their club knows the transfer window. Whereas we don't, and it absolutely frustrates me so much how we're running all of that. Guys, please hit that like button and subscribe down below if you're new. We're on the road to 14k subscribers, so make sure you subscribe for daily Manchester United content and updates throughout the transfer window. We are Bargain FC. We're Bargain FC, but we never get a bargain, you know. We were Bargain FC because we thought, let's wait the whole transfer window to get Maguire because Leicester will lower their price. Leicester didn't lower their price. We still spent 80 million on Maguire. We only got Maguire because City laughed at that and went, 80 million for Maguire, you having a laugh. And City get Ruben Dias for 60 million a year, you know, much better business, much better investment, and Laporte for 50 million. Because United overpay and we only look at English players and we overpay for English players because we don't have good knowledge abroad. Our best signing ever since Sir Alex Ferguson's been Bruno Fernandes abroad. But we only look at English players, overpriced Premier League players, or like Galacticos. Noah says, why are the Glazers taking forever? We have the money and we can't sign players. We will probably get Winks and White this summer. If Man United sign Winks, White, Tyrone Mings, or any washed-up England player that's not going to take us from top four to Premier League level, I will be fuming. The sad situation is, it's going to go from Sancho, Varane and Rice to Mings, Winks and Neto probably. You just don't know with United. I'm just going to take a quick swig of water, but if you have any questions regarding the transfer news, put them in the live chat. If you have any questions you want me to read out, put them in the live chat. Hit that like button and subscribe. I'm just taking a quick swig of water. I think we need a better recruitment and scouting team. They are just another PR team with a different name. Absolute joke. I agree. Our scouting and the players we buy, I think it's all about PR. You know what? Look, I love Jadon Sancho, and Jadon Sancho would be a good signing for Man United. But the motivation behind us going for Jadon Sancho this summer is because the Glazers have a lot of pressure on them. The Glazers are losing money. They're losing sponsorship deals. Adidas have said shirts are falling down. The only reason we're going back in for Jadon Sancho is because if we sign Jadon Sancho, the PR goes up. You know, more fans will be happy with the Glazers. You know, if we don't sign Sancho, more fans turn on the Glazers, more pressure on the Glazers. The Glazers are only going to sign Sancho this summer because they need their shirt sales up, they need their PR up, they need their sponsors up. Everything's falling because of these Glazers out protests, and then no Sancho will please the fans. You know, realistically, we need a Declan Rice or a quick centre-back more than we need Sancho. Let's be honest. We need a quick centre-back in the CDM more than we need Sancho. But it will only be Sancho this summer for the selfish reasons that the Glazers will benefit from Sancho because of the PR and stuff. And, you know, a lot of people would think Sancho, brilliant, great signing. But, you know, people like me and you guys that are watching who watch United, we know that Sancho's a great signing. But we know that we can't go into next season using MUFC because they're not good enough. We carry them. You know, honestly. Man City breached FSP and we can't be proud of their spendings. They are disgraced. Yeah, Man City, there's definitely a lot of dodgy stuff going on. And, you know, we're not. I don't applaud Man City in that way. That we know they've all kind of cheated a bit. But Man City have been a lot more effective in the transfer market than Man United. If you just give the 100 quid to United transfer budget, be best. I mean, there's a rumour that we're going to spend 150 million pounds this summer, but believe it when I see it. I think Man United's transfer window depends on who leaves. And you know what? You know what the thing is? We know that Paul Pogba could go. We know that Martial could go. We want to get rid of one of our keepers. We want to get rid of Pereira. We want to get rid of Delo. We want to get rid of Phil Jones. But knowing United, we'll be sitting here next year with Phil Jones still taking out 100k wages a week. You know, I just think it's not just how shit we are in the transfer market, but we're also really shit at selling players. I love Eric Bailly, and let's not get me wrong, I love Eric Bailly. On his day, he's our best centre-back. But he barely plays, he's always injured, and he can barely get in over Lindelof under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Why are we giving Eric Bailly a 5-year new deal to sit on the bench and waste up wages when we could have got 20 million for him this summer from Inter Milan? Like, where is the logic in that? Why did we offer Phil Jones a new 5-year deal 2 years ago when he's done fuck all with it? Phil Jones just sitting there taking out 100k a week from Man United, and we probably won't sell him. And as shit as we are at signing players, we're also shit at selling players because players that are done at Man United, and as much as I love Eric Bailly because of his injury record, he's done at United, we just offer a new 5-year deal. It's stupid. Glazers will never buy Haaland or Kane, says CP. I tell you what, we won't get Haaland or Kane this summer, but I think we will be in for a striker next summer when Cavani leaves. But it wouldn't surprise me if we got some washed up Bundesliga strikers. JB says, I swear the Sancho transfer saga will drag on for most of the summer. Just get the deal done ASAP. And I 100% agree with you there, JB. We've been working on Sancho for over a year. As I said, we've been working on Sancho since last August. You know, we could have, there's no excuse for us not to have the Sancho deal done now. The fact that we aren't even in negotiations with Borussia Dortmund, you know, Fabrizio Romano has come out and said United aren't even in negotiations with Borussia Dortmund for Sancho. It's a joke. If you've been working on Sancho a year and Borussia Dortmund have made it clear their terms are £80 million before July 23rd, why haven't we just gone and signed Sancho before the Euros? Because whoever owns us is an absolute disgrace. They're going to drag on the Sancho deal just to see if they can save money. You know, we've been working on Sancho a year. We could have signed Sancho 2 weeks ago if we wanted to. Let's be honest. We could have got Sancho done 2 weeks ago if we wanted to. Sancho wants to come to United. Dortmund are happy to sell if their £80 million clause is met. And Ole wants Sancho. So I just think, you know, it's an absolute disgrace that, you know, regarding the Sancho situation and Trippier situation, that Fabrizio Romano said that these deals ain't closed. They aren't going to happen before the Euros. Fabrizio Romano says that Sancho's still a long way away. A long way away. So we're going to drag on the Sancho deal. And it's like Bruno Fernandes. We spent a whole summer trying to get Bruno Fernandes. We didn't pay the money for him because our owners are corrupt. Well, they're not corrupt, but they're bastards. And then we go into January. It's pretty clear at the start of January, we want Bruno Fernandes. We know how much Sporting Lisbon want. We get everything done between us and Bruno. We know what Sporting Lisbon want for him. But we decide to wait till the end of the January transfer window to sign Bruno just to see if we can save £5 million that we don't end up saving. And we did it with Maguire. And it's an absolute joke. Iqbal says Sancho will go to La Liga, Barcelona or Real Madrid to win trophies, not Manchester United to bottle. Sancho will go to Man United, in my opinion. Sancho wants to return to England. But if it will be Man United or Chelsea that Sancho goes to. But Man United better hurry up, because I tell you what, delaying the Sancho deal will only cost us, because if Chelsea sign Erling Haaland and give Borussia Dortmund 100 million for Erling Haaland, Borussia Dortmund will change Sancho's price to 80 million for 100 million, and the waiting game will mean we pay more for Sancho, like we did with Maguire. I tell you that now. And all of that. If you have any questions, put them in the live chat. If you've just joined my live stream, guys, I'm updating you on all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, so make sure you subscribe down below for daily Manchester United content and live streams throughout the transfer window. And JB says that Man United's recruitment department fill me with absolutely no confidence at all. The club should be better at getting transfers done. And I completely agree with JB. We are horrific at getting transfers done. Absolutely horrific at getting transfers done. We've been working on Sancho a year. We're now going to put the deal off to after the Euros for no reason at all, other than the board think they could save a few quid. You know, players like Tielemans that fans were screaming out to get 2 years ago, we could have got for 30, 40 million pounds. We're now apparently going to get him for 60 million pounds. Man United are crying out for a CDM. Man United are absolutely crying out for a CDM. SOUMARE's won League Earn. He's gone to 20 million pounds to Leicester. KOOPERMEINERS, top young upcoming CDM, gone 20 million pounds to Atalanta. Two good, young, promising CDMs, 20 million pounds, which is very, very affordable and isn't much to Man United, have fucked off. Because the recruitment at this club is a joke. The recruitment at this club is a PR team. I bet the people that recruit for Man United are just there for PR. As I said earlier, you know, the recruitment of Man United is PR. As I said earlier, Man United would rather spend 150 million on Harry Kane than 50 million on Jules Koundé, 50 million on Rafinha, and 50 million on Locatelli. Because if you spend 150 million on Harry Kane, you make so much more money in PR. If you spend 50 million on Jules Koundé and you spend 40 million on Locatelli, let's think 90 million gets you Jules Koundé and Locatelli. Jules Koundé and Locatelli could take us to that next level. You know, a quick centre-back and a CDM could take Man United to the next level. 90 million, Jules Koundé, Locatelli, 90 million pounds could take us to that next level. But United would rather spend that 90 million pounds on Jadon Sancho, I think we should get Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho is the right transfer. We need a right winger. But 90 million pounds for Jadon Sancho or 90 million pounds for Locatelli and Jules Koundé, you're actually thinking, you know what, if you look at Man United, our problem isn't scoring goals. Our problem is the midfield and the defence. It's the defence has let us down because we've shipped 2-3 goals in so many games. That actually, we'd probably benefit more from spending the Sancho money on Locatelli and Jules Koundé more than spending on Sancho. But the reason Sancho is the number one priority and not a CDM and not a centre-back is because our recruitment team is basically PR, because they know Jadon Sancho, hype, woo, but they know Locatelli and Jules Koundé, two well-priced, efficient young signings that will come and improve us. They aren't going to get the hype or the news that Sancho gets. And that's the situation. Whoever recruits the Man United it's just PR. I think our recruitment is just PR. Jadon Sancho says, Alice, the Glazers get what they want when YouTube talk about me. It's time to stop about my transfer. How can I really come? Fair enough. Bruno says, Mr. Bean would be better in charge than the Glazers. Need Ronaldo, Tielemans, Neves, Grealish, Pau Torres, Trippier. Simple. That's a lot of players, but let's be honest. Sancho, brilliant. Jules Koundé, Varane, any quick centre-back, boom. Brilliant. A CDM, KOOPERMEINERS, Locatelli, Kessie, Basuma, Zakaria. Brilliant. Right wing, quick centre-back, CDM. 3 signings. You can get them all done. You have the money for it. You get rid of Daniel James. You get rid of Matic. You get rid of one of the goalies. All of that. You clear out the deadwood. You maybe get rid of one of Fred and McTominay as well. You get rid of Lingard. You get rid of Delo. You get rid of Pereira. You could make 50, 60, 70, 80 million in outs from getting rid of the deadwood. And you could also invest the 60 million in outs in Locatelli, Jules Koundé and Sancho, which would probably be a net spend of £100 million. But we won't do that because the people that run us care more about PR and money than the future of this club. And it's an absolute joke. If you have any comments or questions, get them down below in the live chat. I'm going to try and read out as many live chats as possible. So get any comments and questions down below in the live chat. JB says, if Chelsea sign Haaland from Dortmund for 100 mil before United sign Sancho, then Borussia Dortmund will raise the price for Sancho. As I said earlier, I agree. Damn, that's scary thought. United can't afford to spend over 100 million on Sancho. We know from very, very reliable journalists that Man United are more than happy to spend 80 million on Sancho. 80 million is the price for Sancho, and Man United are happy to get Sancho. We know that realistically, if we weren't going to get Sancho this summer, we wouldn't have gone back in for him, because the fall and the anger from not getting Sancho last summer was so big on the Glazers. And after the Super League, after everything that's happened, after the protest, the Glazers can't afford that fall and anger again. So we know we wouldn't be going back in for Jadon Sancho this summer if we had no intention of signing him. We know that he's 80 million. We know we're going to spend 80 million on Jadon Sancho. We know that. But if Chelsea do get Haaland, Jadon Sancho's price is going to go up. And the waiting game, we think if we wait for Sancho, he could be 75 million and not 80, say 5 million quid. But his price is going to go up. And that costs us, because we know we can spend 80 million on Sancho. But if Dortmund turn around and go, actually, we want 100 million for Sancho now, United aren't going to pay that. And United, by waiting on this Sancho deal that they could have done at the start of the transfer window, but now waiting on it and realise Haaland's gone to Chelsea, have just shot themselves in the arse, because they've realised they've gone back in for Sancho, knowing they were going to get Sancho and he's going to be 80 million, and they paid that, but they're just going to see if they can get him lower. And then realising that Sancho's now more money and they can't get Sancho. And then they have the fans hating on them again. And they have the Glazers out protests. And the pressure's on them so big that they then have to panic and buy someone else. And they realise, shit, we've got to panic. We've got to sign a player that the fans are going to love, that we're going to win the fans back with. And then they go and spend 130 million on Harry Kane, thinking that's going to win the fans back. And yeah, you'd win some fans back spending 130 million on Harry Kane. But we don't need a striker. Cavani stayed for a year. And this whole time we've been working on the Sancho deal and we fail on it because we wait too long and Haaland goes to Chelsea and Dortmund say, nah, Sancho's price has gone up and we don't get Sancho. You know, we could have got Jules Koundé and Locatelli for the same price. But instead, we won't. If we fuck up the Sancho deal, I tell you what, we'll go for Harry Kane. And the reason we'll go for Harry Kane if we fuck up the Sancho deal is because even though we need Locatelli and Jules Koundé more than we need Harry Kane, and Harry Kane would be more money, the PR, the hype, the news around Harry Kane would just go boom, 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 boom. Diego says over 121 people watching, so please guys, if you're new, subscribe to Alice Talks Football. I'm doing daily Manchester United content and live streams throughout the transfer window, so if you're a Man United fan or you're just a fan that's really interested in football and you want to be updated on all the latest Manchester United news, rumours and transfer news, please subscribe down below. We're on the road to 14k subscribers, so every sub means a lot. I'm going to be doing daily Man United content throughout the transfer window, so like, subscribe, share this video and all of that stuff down below. But yeah, if we sign a player, there's a live stream. If we're close to signing a player, there's a live stream. If there's a rant, there's a live stream. If anything happens relevant to Man United, there'll be news on it. So subscribe so you don't miss anything regarding Jadon Sancho, Manchester United, and all the news and stuff. If you have any questions for me, please put them down below in the live chat. I'm really happy to go and answer a lot of the questions I have in the live chat. But what I actually wanted to do is I wanted to read out a tiny little bit of Manchester United news and all of that regarding Romero, the centre-back, because the only positive news that came out today is apparently, and it's coming out of Italy, it's saying that Manchester United have accelerated their pursuit of Cristian Romero. Negotiations are ongoing with Atlanta, who could sell him for 45 million euros. So 45 million euros is about 35 million quid for a very, very good, young, quick Argentinian centre-back in Serie A. Now, for me, I would sign Jules Koundé followed by Varane. But I know people that watch Serie A. I personally don't watch Serie A. And everyone that I know that watches Serie A is a big fan of Cristian Romero. They say he's actually probably been the best centre-back in Serie A this year. He's young, he's 23. And we know that we want a centre-back. It's very clear Man United want a centre-back. And a lot of news stories coming out of Italy saying that Man United are very, very interested in Cristian Romero. And apparently we're in negotiations with Atlanta, who could sell the guy for about 35 million quid, which would be a bargain. And however, this could be United PR, because a lot of really, really reliable European sources have said we're very, very close to Trippier and we're very, very close to Sancho. But today we've learned from Fabrizio Romano that we're not even in talks with Borussia Dortmund for Sancho. We're not going to get Trippier unless we put in a major bid. So the sad thing is this story about us going for Cristian Romero for a good price and all of that, and the story about us getting Varane for a really good price, we don't know if it's true or not, because the United PR team are definitely leaking loads of stories to credible journalists and for PR. So that is a sad situation. And there was another thing about Cristian Romero, which came out from Fabrizio Romano, saying that, and Fabrizio Romano is the Don of transfers, pardon me, he said, this is what Fabrizio Romano said on Cristian Romero, the centre-back. He said that Cristian Romero's camp are denying any proposal from Manchester United. Atlanta are denying too. They never received a 45 million euro bid. There's nothing serious or advanced going on as of today. Good player, appreciated, but nothing going on. So again, Cristian Romero, we get told we're in talks with Atalanta, we want him. Fabrizio Romano goes, no, we don't. There's nothing going on. Jadon Sancho this week, we get told United are in talks with Borussia Dortmund, a deal's really close and could be done before the Euros. Fabrizio Romano comes out and goes, no, the deal is far off. We're not even in talks with Dortmund. It's very, very unlikely to happen. It's going to take a while. Kieran Trippier, we get told from very, very reliable English and European journalists that Kieran Trippier is definitely going to Man United. The deal's really, really close. No, Fabrizio Romano says, you ain't getting Trippier unless United put in a big bid. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what is happening. But unless Fabrizio Romano is wrong, and it's very, very unlikely that Fabrizio Romano will be wrong, I think United's PR are leaking these stories around. Leaking all these stories around regarding Manchester United. Maybe trying to get, I don't know, some positive attention or positive spin on things. I really don't know what's going on. I really, really don't. Guys, please hit that like button and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 14k subscribers. So if you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do subscribe. I'm 50 subscribers away from 13.6k, 50 subs away from 13.6k. So if you want to be updated on all the latest Manchester United news, please subscribe down below. 50 subs to go till 13.6k. So please subscribe if you do. I'm just reading out all the latest Manchester United news and all of that. So any questions you have, put them in the live chat. I'm going to try and read out as many live chats as possible. This guy's basically just said what I was saying. Christian Romero's camp denying any proposal from Manchester United. Atlanta denying it too. They never received the £45 million bid. So basically, you know, a couple of days ago, we were close to Varane, we're close to Trippier, we're close to Sancho, we're close to Romero, we're close to all these players. Fabrizio Romano's gone, you know what, we ain't close to signing anyone right now. You know, we're not going to sign any player before the Euros. We're not going to sign any player in the next 2 weeks, realistically. Realistically, if Man United sign a player in the next 2 weeks, I'll give some money away. But we're not. If we don't get Sancho, the Glazers will shit themselves. Exactly. You know, I think we're going to get Sancho because I think the Glazers can't afford to miss out on Sancho. But if we don't get Sancho, the Glazers are going to panic and go, fuck, who can we spend that money on to win back the fans? Maybe Jack Grealish? I'd love Jack Grealish, but we've got Rashford, Bruno, Pogba that can all play in Jack Grealish's role. I like Harry Kane, but Cavani's staying another year. We need a CDM and a centre-back more. If we don't get Jadon Sancho, we're going to panic and buy someone like Harry Kane and Jack Grealish. So they're good players, but realistically, I'd rather us sign Locatelli and Jules Koundé than Jack Grealish, or Locatelli and Jules Koundé than Harry Kane, because for me, our attack is all right. Our centre-back, no. Lindelof, got to go. McFred, got to go. Honestly, Erling Haaland confirmed he will stay at Dortmund. I'm not 100% sure on the Erling Haaland to Chelsea news. I don't follow Chelsea news that much. But what I'm saying is, if Chelsea get Erling Haaland, it's a very, very difficult situation for United because I can't see Dortmund selling Haaland and Sancho in the same window. Dean Jones from Bleachers Report has just come in and said that Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is likely to happen this summer as United want to bring him in and Borussia Dortmund are open to him leaving. However, there's still some work to be done regarding the fee, which is basically nothing new. Another quite reliable, credible English journalist that's probably been fed this news from Man United as part of a PR spin, Dean Jones from Bleachers Report, I think he works for Bleachers Report, has basically said, you know, Sancho's likely to happen. He said Sancho's likely to happen. We know Sancho is likely to happen, but when will it happen? Because we've worked on Sancho a year, so we could have got him done a week ago. You know, it doesn't take us a year to sign a player. But for some reason, we're going to wait till the end of the window to sign Sancho. It makes no sense. Honestly, makes no sense. Please hit that like button, subscribe down below, guys. It means a lot. Every subscriber means a lot. Robert says, Alice, at this point, I wish Abramovich gets pissed and signs Sancho. I'm a United fan, but I've had enough of this bullshit. Honestly, I mean, I really hope Roman Abramovich doesn't sign Sancho. But do you know what the best bit? When Man United finally signs Sancho, or when I think we're going to sign Sancho, but do you know what the best part of Man United signing Sancho will be? It's just the fact that we won't have to put up with another year of these rumours. Because for the last 3 years, we've been linked to Sancho. And for the last year, every other day, it's been Sancho this, Sancho that, Sancho this, Sancho that. Back, forth, repeat story. The best bit of signing Jadon Sancho will just be no more Sancho this, Sancho that, no more repeated stories, honestly. Someone says, Dan James, go away. I like Dan James. He works very, very hard, but if we sign Sancho, I say Dan James got to go. Someone said I'm a queen, so thank you very, very, very much. Kazra, if that's how you say your name, says buy Sancho, sell Pogba, and buy Grealish instead with one-class CDM and a PL trophy next season. You know what? I'd be happy if we did that. I do like Pogba, but yeah, I'd be happy if Sancho, Grealish, and the CDM came. But do you think we can win the Premier League with Lindelof at the back? Maybe we give Tuanzebe more of a run and we play him next to Maguire with his pace, and Bailly stays fit. But we can't win the Premier League with Lindelof at the back. We can't win the Premier League with Lindelof at the back. But I like your thinking. Phantom, thank you very much for the super chat. He says sign Sancho or Chelsea will sign both Sancho and Haaland. You know what? I'm scared of that happening, Phantom. You are absolutely correct, though. Thanks for the super chat. Man United need to hurry up and get Sancho because Chelsea don't fuck about in the transfer market like us. Chelsea know what they're doing. They get who they want to get. So you're right. We need to hurry up and sign Sancho. We do. What are the chances we do all the business right and end up to new season start? if Man United go out and sign a decent CDM, so I'm talking Locatelli, Sakaria, Basuma, one of those, Rice and Didi. If Man United go out and sign a decent CDM, we go out and sign a decent quick centre-back, I'm talking Romero, Varane, KOUNDE, and Jadon Sancho, I will have nothing to complain about regarding the transfer window. And I'd be very, very happy, and I'd be going, you know what, I have a good feeling about this season. And if we don't have a good season, it is on Ollie. It is on Ollie. But I just feel we could be going into this next season with Tyrone Mings, Harry Winks, and Jadon Sancho. Honestly, Harry Winks, Jadon Sancho, and Tyrone Mings. Okay, cool, we got Sancho. But why would you spend money on Tyrone Mings and someone like Harry Winks? That's my fear with Manchester United. JB says Sancho this, Sancho that. Just want to see him holding United shirt. 100%. The best part of signing Sancho was just no more Sancho rumours. Honestly, Starlord said I'd rather Grealish or Kane over Sancho. We got lots of wingers and forwards. We've only got one out-and-out striker in Cavani. I see your point, but for me, Green was going to be a striker. I think Martial can do a job as a striker. I'd rather get an out-and-out right winger personally, because I think we need a little bit more creativity on the wings. Because I think as wingers, Greenwood and Rashford are more inside forwards. So I think when Pogba plays on the wing, Cavani gets more service. So I think the thing about Jadon Sancho, he's an out-and-out winger. He's a winger that gets more assists than goals. 3 seasons in a row, Jadon Sancho's provided 20 assists for Borussia Dortmund. I think the thing about Jadon Sancho is a winger that gets assists. Martial plays on the wing, but he scores a lot more goals. Greenwood plays on the wing, scores a lot more goals. Rashford plays on the wing, scores a lot more goals. I think what Sancho brings us is not just a player that can play on the right, but a player that is actually going to provide creativity to Cavani. Because we know with Cavani, you give him service, the guy's going to bang in goals. We know with Greenwood, now, if you give Greenwood service, he's going to bang in goals. Greenwood and Cavani are clinical. They can both play as a 9. Sancho, say we can't play Cavani, Sancho, Greenwood, Rashford, very, very good young front three. Very, very good young front three. But I respect your opinion. Anto says Sancho to Manchester United is possible this summer because ERLING Haaland stays, but United have to pay the transfer fee to complete the transfer. Yeah. All that's going on with Sancho is United have got to pay 80 million by July 23rd to get him. It looks like Haaland will stay at Chelsea, but if Chelsea get Haaland, then we're in trouble. Thank you very much for the super chat, Nipham. He says, how far do you see England going in the Euros? Round of 16, we get knocked out. You know what? I whenever I expect England to do well in a tournament, we do shit. I thought we were going to do shit in the World Cup. We did well. I don't rate Southgate. I don't. So I think we're going to do shit. But because I think we're going to do shit, we'll probably do well. So I say we're going to get to the round of 16. But I don't think England will win the Euros. I think France will. Actually, let me know in the live chat. Who do you think will win the Euros, actually? But yeah, get me to 14K, guys. Please subscribe down below. We're on the road to 14,000 subscribers. So every subscriber is much appreciated. I'm doing daily Manchester United content throughout the transfer window. So if you don't want to miss out on any Manchester United news, make sure you subscribe. We're 40 subscribers away from 13.6K, 40 subs away. So subscribe, guys. Oh, that was a bit of a tongue twister. Robert says, Abramovich wants to sign someone, he just signs someone. Glazers want to sign someone, they just talk about it. And that's facts. Let's look at this comment, guys. When Abramovich wants to sign someone, they get it done. When United want to sign someone, they just talk about it. Because media PR clicks. Media PR clicks. I tell you this. Everyone we sign is just about the media PR clicks. As I said earlier, every transfer we make, our recruitment team is a PR team, really. Every player we're linked to, every signing we make, 9 times out of 10, it's just about PR, winning the fans, media. And that comment, 100% facts. Steve says, Man U just not in a good position when it comes to signings and preparing for a season. And you're absolutely correct, Steve. And the annoying thing is, we're coming up to 9 years now since Sir Alex Ferguson left. No, 8 years. No? Yes, 8 years, sorry. It's been 8 years since Sir Alex Ferguson left, 8 disappointing transfer windows. 8 summers where we've not been prepared for the next season. 8 years is not good enough. Okay, 1 year, odd mistake. You're not prepared, fine. 8 years in a row, we've gone into summer not getting all the key players we want, not being fully prepared for the season. And the Glazers have allowed this to happen for 8 years. They've allowed the same people to be in charge of transfers for 8 years when we've gone from a team that would have been Premier League after Premier League after Premier League to a team that debates whether they're going to get top 4 or not the next season. And for 8 years, the people that have made the transfers, that have run the club, are still there. You could sack the managers, you could sell some players, but that doesn't make that much of a difference. Sacking a manager, selling the players, cool, that can help us short term. It can make us a little bit better. But if we want to win titles, if we want to win the Champions League, we have to change our recruitment team. We have to get football people involved. Honestly, it's just an absolute joke, Howard, an absolute joke. Joel Glazer, McDonald's, FC, I'm shoving it. Honestly. Starlo says Sancho is an out-and-out winger. His best is to play off the left, in my opinion. Sancho can play off the left, right, and cam. To be fair, he has been playing off the left a lot more for Dortmund, but I think, Sancho can do a job on the right, and he's very, very creative. And I think, on the right, Sancho provides more assists. On the left, Sancho gets more goals. And I think for a winger, we're looking at someone that gets assists because we've got goals in Greenwood, Rashford, and all of that. Chelsea are efficient with transfers. I wish we could be like Chelsea. Portugal, if they survive their group. Yeah, the Euros. I did a Euro prediction on my second channel. Like the group of death: Portugal, Germany, Hungary, France. I feel very, very sorry for Hungary. I feel very, very sorry for Hungary. I won't lie. Steve says, I think Chelsea can win the league. Not sure they can do back-to-back Champions League. I think Chelsea will be challenging for the league next season. And that's the other thing. We came second this year. Well done, Ollie. We got second place. I will respect Ollie for that. Second place with Fred, with Lindelof. You have to. Ollie had a shit transfer window, didn't get back, got a second place with McFred, with Lindelof. Congratulations, Ollie. You did also lose us the Europa League final, but you have to respect Ollie for that with your Ollie in and Ollie out. But next season, Liverpool will have Van Dijk and won't have so many injuries and the players they've signed. Chelsea will have a full season under Tuchel off the back of winning the Champions League and have the players they signed. Manchester City are already ahead of us and are probably going to have a better transfer window than us. So, we go into next year going, Liverpool have improved, Chelsea have improved, City have improved. The only way we can be up there with them is if we improve. And that's the worrying thing. Will we improve? But yeah. I do worry about next season, though. I think Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City, if they have a good transfer window and they're lucky with injuries, all have the possibility and the players out there to win the Premier League. Whereas I look at that Man United squad and I go, we overachieved with second. The only way we're winning a Premier League next season is if we get fucking lucky or we sign a CDM centre-back and a right winger. But we can't just sign Sancho and Ben White. We have to sign Sancho, a good centre-back, and a good CDM. We can't just sign Sancho and a centre-back. We need Sancho, a centre-back, and a CDM. This guy says that Borussia Dortmund haven't received an offer yet from Manchester United. That's true. Apparently, we've been told from Fabrizio Romano that Man United aren't even in talks with Dortmund. A transfer before the Euros seems unlikely. Jadon Sancho can only leave Dortmund until the end of July. Exactly. We need to hurry up. I agree. Everybody, please hit that like button, subscribe down below, and share this video. This person does say, Alice, don't be fooled by Sancho's Bundesliga stats. Havertz, Werner have fantastic stats in the Bundesliga. I do agree. It's not all about stats. It's easier to get your stat numbers up in the Bundesliga. But I think from watching Jadon Sancho and his age, I think he's going to be a good player. His stats are brilliant, and maybe it could take him a year to adjust. The Bundesliga is easier, But look at Haaland's stats in the Bundesliga are brilliant. But Haaland's also top goal scorer in the Champions League, and he's got Sancho's service. And I do look at the Champions League for stats as well. But yeah, you do make a good point. Pogba is such ridiculous for France. Yeah, but is Paul Pogba playing for France right now, actually? Because I know Paul Pogba's playing tonight. But I don't know how he's doing for France. But everyone's gassing up Paul Pogba. Some more news has come out from Dean Joe's Soccer regarding Jadon Sancho. They say that Jadon Sancho's camp are confident the transfer to Manchester United will go ahead. However, club-to-club negotiations are not as advanced as some believe, and it is understood they still need to find an agreeable valuation. And Dean Jones also said that ideally Manchester United have been setting their stall out not to pay more than 70 million. Surprise, surprise. But that is an area that needs to be addressed, as Dortmund do not want to have the same number in mind. The feeling in Germany is that United needs to pay 80 million. Oh, that was really loud clap, wasn't it? But basically, what Dean Jones has just tweeted, what Dean Jones has just said, a reliable journalist, as United have been stalling the Sancho deal because they don't want to pay more than £70 million. We're stalling the Sancho deal because we don't want to pay more than £70 million. He is £80 million. Dortmund have said £80 million before July 23rd, you can have him. Are United really going to wait till the end of July to just end up paying 80 million for Sancho. This is what we did with Maguire. This is what we did for Bruno Fernandes. Do we not learn our lessons? We've just been told we're stalling the Sancho deal because we don't want to pay more than £70 million and he's £80 million. That's what Dean Jones has just said. Do we not learn? So are we really going to wait till the end of July to then go and pay £80 million for Jadon Sancho? Because Dortmund ain't going to give him to us for £70 million, even if we stall the deal. Because Dortmund could just get money for Haaland if they really wanted to. Chelsea will do it. So the reason, we've been working on Sancho a year, but the one reason we haven't actually brought Sancho, even though we've been working on the deal for a year, is because we think, if we stall the deal and wait till the end of July and drag the deal out, we could save £10 million. Dean Jones has basically said that. It's an absolute joke how we're run. I was literally reading out the story as it comes in. We think we want Sancho for £70 million, so we're stalling the deal, is what he's saying. But Dortmund want £80 million. So we are literally not going in with negotiations with Dortmund because we think we can save £10 million. We are Save Money FC. We are a joke. We run like a joke. If we were run by Chelsea's owners, if we were run by Man City's owners, Sancho would already be a Manchester United player. It's an absolute joke how we run. It's an absolute joke. Playing hardball again. It didn't work with Bruno Fernandes. We wasted a whole January on Bruno Fernandes. We still ended up paying the same money. We wasted a whole summer on Harry Maguire. We still ended up paying the same money. Are we really going to do this with Jadon Sancho? Because at the end of the day, Sancho may want United, but Sancho's a very, very good player. Chelsea could swoop in, see what we're doing, and sign Jadon Sancho before our eyes. Chelsea could sign Haaland, and Jadon Sancho costs even more than 80 million. Absolutely stupid from Manchester United. Absolutely stupid what we're doing. Absolutely stupid how we work in transfer windows. Just the way we're run. We're just an absolute joke, guys. We're actually just a joke. We just run so shit. It really, really frustrates me. Honestly, joke club, joke FC. I'm actually going to get this up on my screen. Look at this. Just whoa. I almost shared the link to my stream. That means all of you guys will start joining. But let me share my screen with you because this is what it is. This is what it is. Can you see that? Let's zoom in. I don't know what you can see. That is the tweet there on my screen. That is the tweet there on my screen. Here we go. That is the tweet. Man United, look, read this. Ideally, Man United have been setting their stall out not to pay more than £70 million. But it's not the area that needs to be addressed as Dortmund do not want, read that. Stupid, honestly, stupid club, playing hardball again. Absolutely stupid. Like, that is the tweet, guys. We are stupid. We're really playing hardball just to pay more money. We're really playing hardball with the Sancho situation. The reason we haven't signed Sancho is because we want to get him for 70 million. So we think if we wait till the end of July, we get him for 70 million. I tell you this, if we're signing Sancho, it's for 80 million pounds or more. So what we're doing is we could have signed Sancho last week for 80 million, but because there could be a small chance we could save £1 on him, we'll wait till the end of July to sign him, just to see if we can save £1, because that's what owners are like. That's how we run. It's just a joke. We are just joke FC, run by clowns. I don't even know what to say. Tight Pockets FC. I mean, we've got so many nicknames now. The 90% Club, Tight Pockets FC, we're not, Arsenal are Banter FC. Chelsea are Heart Attack FC. Man City are Oil Money FC. Arsenal are Banter FC, and we are Tight FC. Run by Clowns FC. Pret FC. Liverpool's owners are shit. But at least they brought Konaté and Rafinha. Our owners are shocking. Our owners are absolutely shocking. Joke FC. We should be called Joke FC. Honestly, we are shit in the transfer market. We're going to stall a deal, honestly. Chelsea are ready to part ways with Seek and sign both Sancho and Haaland for 300 million plus Hudson-Odoi and Werner swap. I mean, if Chelsea pulled it off, that's a mad one, but I don't personally believe that story. I personally don't believe that story. Guys, if you're new, please subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football. I'm doing daily Manchester United news and transfer news throughout the transfer window. So if Man United signed a player, there's a video on this channel. If Man United closest signing player, there's a video on this channel. If there's any interesting news regarding Manchester United, there's a video on this channel. So to be updated on all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football, because I'll update you on everything Manchester United throughout the transfer window. Shit negotiator FC. We are the worst football team in the world at negotiating transfers. We spend a whole summer on Maguire to then end up paying the same price, They said 80 million for Maguire. We said 70 million. We spent a whole summer on it. We ended up paying 80 million. They said 50 million for Bruno Fernandes. We said 45 million. We spent the whole January on it to end up paying 50 million. They say 80 million for Sancho. The reason we're not buying Sancho right now, we're stalling deal, is because we got it for 70 million. And I call it now, we will not get Sancho for any less than 80 million because Dortmund have made it clear 80 million before July 23rd or you don't get him. Do we really want to play hardball with Dortmund after what happened last summer? Dortmund said 108 million before our deadline, he's yours. We tried to negotiate with Dortmund last summer. They didn't budge. We failed horrifically. We got played by Dortmund. They ended up signing Bellingham. We took 3 L's to Dortmund last calendar year. They got Haaland, they got Bellingham, and they mugged us off with Sancho. Do we not learn that you can't play hardball with Dortmund? You know, if they want 80 million for Sancho, they'll hold out for that. Did we not learn our lesson from last year? Why are we delaying the Sancho deal? Why are we delaying the Sancho deal? Did we just not learn our lesson from last summer? Because the only thing I can see with us delaying the Sancho deal is Haaland goes, Dortmund don't really need the money. They move Sancho's price up. 80 million for Sancho, fair price. Last summer, Man United were more than happy to spend 80 million on Jadon Sancho. Last summer, Man United wanted Jadon Sancho for 80 million and we didn't get him because of 108 million. Now, a year later, we're apparently wanting for 70 million just to see if we can get him cheaper. It's all about saving money. If we were prepared to spend 80 million on Sancho last summer, why don't we just go 80 million, get the deal done and wrap it up before the Euros? No, because we'll do anything to save 1p, 2p, 3p. So we're delaying the Sancho deal to see if we can get the 70 million, playing hardball FC. We're trying to be hardball FC over Jadon Sancho. We're trying to be hardball FC. And it was going to bite us in the arse because you do not negotiate with Dortmund. You do not fuck up this Sancho deal because all I think is if you delay this Sancho deal, Dortmund aren't going to lower Sancho's price. They might up it if they get money for Haaland. Dortmund aren't going to lower Sancho's price. So I don't know why we're playing hardball FC for Sancho. I think it's an absolute joke. You know, I think it's a joke that we're not going for a CDM. I think it's a joke that we've been working on Sancho for a year and we were willing to spend 80 million on last summer and have been told we can get for 80 million. But we thought, you know what, instead of actually getting the Sancho deal done that we've been working on a year, let's see if we can get it for 70 million and delay the deal. And I think it's a joke that, you know, we're probably going to go into next season with probably Fred. I think that's an absolute joke. And I think whoever runs us is an idiot. I think the same people have been running the club and transfers since Sir Alex Ferguson's left have had 8 years of failure and are still in the club. I think this club from top to bottom is a joke. And you know what? I don't care if you're Ollie in or Ollie out. The one thing we can all agree on is the Glazers have to go. So if your Glazers out, please hit that like button. Hit that like button for Glazers out. And if you just joined the live stream and if you've not seen my Facebook before, please subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football. I do daily Manchester United content. I'm updating you on all the latest transfer news and news regarding Manchester United this summer. So please subscribe. We're on the road to 14k subscribers, by the way. We're very, very close to 13.6k. We're 20 subscribers away from 13.6k. So please subscribe if you're not subscribed. 20 subs away from 13.6k. Daily Manchester United news, by the way. Manchester 777 says the owners want it. This delayed deals that fall apart means less business per window and less money spent. Exactly. There's 3 reasons why Man United delayed transfer deals. One, we delay deals because we think if we take ages on a deal, we could save £1-2. Honestly, they would do anything to save £1. We think if we delay the deal, we can spend money. We can save money. The second reason we delay transfer deals is because if we delay the Sancho deal to the end of July, that only gives us a month to realistically work on a centre back and a CDM. And United can use the fact that they didn't have enough time to sign both to only sign a centre back, so we can go into next summer saying we didn't have the time to sign a CDM because we spent all this time on Sancho and all this time on a centre-back that we never got time to look at a CDM. And the third reason Man United delay transfer deals so much is because of the PR and that they want the media to be talking about it. The thing about Jadon Sancho is Man United love delaying this deal because every day someone's talking about Sancho to United. And because this Sancho deal has been talked about for over a year, because it's Sancho this, Sancho that, you know, what United are going to do is, just before we sign Sancho, I reckon Simon Stones or Simon Peach or someone will say, oh, the Sancho deal isn't very close. And Man United are going to say that we're not going to get Sancho and they're going to leak this story. Then the next day, boom, we're going to all of a sudden be this close to signing Sancho. Here we go and we get him. Man United also delay deals so they can have this media hype, this PR spin and drag out a deal as long as possible. So, you know, it's not just about saving money. It's also about, you know, giving us less time to buy other players, which is about saving money. But we also take so long in the transfer market because United love this. United love this PR media talk about Sancho. United, whenever we're signing a player, we create as much media attention as possible. We don't just go out and sign a player. You know, we're not one of those clubs. All of us, we could read the newspaper next week, and for all we know, Man City could have signed Locatelli, and there wouldn't have been any talk about it till the day before. You know, because Man City don't fuck about with leaking things to the media. If Man United are going to sign a player, they're going to leak shit to the media weeks and weeks and weeks leading up to this player to create as much hype and PR and media attention around it. So when Man United sign a player, there's as much attention to it as possible. We're not the type of team to, in 4 days' time, all of a sudden we sign Locatelli. We're not that team. If we're going to sign a player, we're going to be linked to that player weeks and weeks and months in advance so we can create as much hype and generate as much social media interactions and numbers as possible. That's what we do. It's what we do. It's just, it's an absolute joke, honestly. Someone said CR7 to Man United. I think CR7 to Man United isn't going to happen. I think it's all about clicks on news articles. I think the only reason Ronaldo's linked to Man United is for the clicks on news articles. You know, I think, you know, Ronaldo, and I think even Declan Rice won't happen. Ronaldo, Rice, Kane, Grealish, I don't think they're going to happen. I think it's all about clicks, PR spin, and media attention. I think it's all about media attention. Matt Judge is a prat. And all of that, I agree. This guy says, let's get the deal done. Alice Talks Live for more news and updates on Sky Sports Transfer News. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, please subscribe down below, guys, if you haven't seen my face before. We got 150 people watching. We normally get 70 people a live stream, so we got double the normal count. So we've got a lot of new people in here. So we are 12 subscribers away from 13.6k. I'm 12 subs away from 13.6k. So please hit that like button, subscribe down below, and share this video if you haven't already, because it'd be much appreciated. 12 subs away from 13.6k. So keep liking, keep subscribing, keep sharing this video. It will mean a lot. Said HH says, I'm worried that Sancho will flop. Looking at his play style, it suits the counter-attack team more than breaking down opponents. Well, Man United are a counter-attacking team, but I do think Sancho will suit breaking teams down, because I think the reason we struggle to break teams down when we play Martial and Rashford on the wings is because Martial and Rashford are more inside forward than wingers, like Mo Salah. You know, they get a lot more goals compared to assists, where Sancho's a winger, he gets a lot more assists compared to goals. So I think Sancho is like Pogba. When we play Pogba on the wings and the team has a low block, Cavani gets more service. You know, as much as I like Pogba in the middle and Rashford and Greenwood on the wings, if we're playing a team with a low block, Cavani will get more service with Pogba on the wing than Rashford and Greenwood, because Rashford and Greenwood are there to score goals, not provide service, while Pogba's there to provide service. So I think the thing about Jadon Sancho, and I think one of the key things Sancho adds, is he's a winger that isn't an inside forward. He's actually an out-and-out winger, and I think he will provide service even in a low block. Rice or Varane, as I've said, Varane to Man United could still happen. I think we are seriously in for Varane. We know we're in for Varane. We know we're very interested in Varane, but I think we won't know what's happening with Varane until after the year. I think there's a possibility we get Varane, but the thing about Man United is, I said right at the start of this live stream, I said this time a year ago, we went into the summer thinking we're going to get Bellingham, Jack Grealish, and Sancho. This time a year ago, we went into the summer being told we're getting Bellingham, Jack Grealish, Sancho. They're all close. We're going to close to get them all. We didn't get any of them. We've gone into this transfer window being told we're going to get Trippier, Sancho, and Varane. And for all we know, we're not even in talks over Sancho with Borussia Dortmund. We won't get Trippier unless we put a super bid in, and nothing's going on with Varane. So, you know, I don't think we'll get Rice. As I said, I'll give away £100 if we sign Rice, because I don't think we're going to get him unless Paul Pogba leaves. But I think there's a chance we get Varane, but it's just one of them situations you just don't know with United. We get told we're going to get all these players, and for all we know, we'll get Tyrone Mings or Ben White on deadline day. It's the frustrating, annoying thing. It's really frustrating. Please hit that like button, subscribe down below, and share this video. I'm going to refresh the subscribers. How close are we to 13.6k, guys? How close are we? We're 2 subscribers away from 13.6k. So make sure you subscribe. 2 subs of 13.6k. So let's subscribe. 13.6k. That's where we go. Bald Joel, take your bald brother with bad ponytail and go F yourself, says Jadon Sancho. Yeah, I agree. I have to say, for all the money the Glazers have, could Abraham Glazer have got a shitter trim? Could he have got a shitter haircut? You've got all that money. You've got a bald patch here and a ponytail here. He looks like a knobhead. You know, they say money can't buy class, and I tell you what, money can't buy style. You know, they do say money can buy looks, but it definitely can't buy style. I tell you what. I mean, that haircut is awful. Leslie Lyle says, Southgate, bring the entire Boeing to the Euros and ask Harry to train his neck muscles, because they will bring a lot of ball to 9-1 formation. I have no idea what you mean by that. But someone will probably understand that. Glazers out, Glazers out. Hit that like button for Glazers out. The Glazers are a joke. How much are the boys willing to pay for Varane? Probably no more than £40 million, knowing United. We're going to spend £80 million on Sancho. You know, we're trying to negotiate Sancho for £70 million. We're trying to be hardball FC, we're trying to be negotiation FC, but we'll end up paying 80 million for Sancho. But the thing is, if United pay 80 million for Sancho, and I think we will sign Sancho for 80 million, I just think, you know what, cool, we get Sancho for 80 million, we pay 80 million for Jadon Sancho, but we're not going to spend more than 40 million on centre-back if we sign Jadon Sancho. As much as I want Jadon Sancho, and as much as I would love Jadon Sancho at Man United, I just think if you sign Jadon Sancho, we're not going to spend more than 40 million on the centre-back. That's the problem. And if we do, we'll probably do someone like Ben White. We'll probably spend 50 million on Ben White, knowing us, because we're just stupid, but absolutely stupid. Knowing us will spend 50 million on Ben White. It's, yeah. We are Banter FC, we are Low FC, we are all of that. But I am going to end the stream here, guys. So thank you very much for everyone tuning in. We have now hit 13.6K. It was a brilliant stream. So thanks everyone for joining and tuning in. Please, if you haven't already, hit that like button. I'm ending the stream now, but if you want to see more streams from me, please subscribe down below. As I said, I do daily Manchester United content. I'm going to keep you updated on all the latest Manchester United news throughout the transfer window. So stay subscribed so you don't miss any of the latest Manchester United news. Hit that like button. We'll be live again this week for a lot more news and transfer updates. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you everyone for watching. It was an awesome stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Like, subscribe. See you next time.